So are you ready for the top 5 movies of 2006 is what we're up to now.
I know, and this was like really difficult.
Yeah.
There were so many movies. I
Yeah.
even I even did honorable mentions.
Oh
Because,
boy.
you know,
Okay.
you
We'll have
know,
end credits going up.
yeah, right, end credits going up. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good movies
Yeah.
uh, this time to to pick from. So it was like,
All right. Well, you want to start us off then?
okay, I'll start off. This is one of your very favorite movies,
Okay.
The Da Vinci Code.
I knew you were going to have this. I'm surprised it's not higher.
uh, yeah, I mean, you know, because there's a lot of good movies that
Yeah.
were better than this movie. The book was fantastic. It was like,
Yeah. I know you love the book.
yeah. So that I had to see the movie. So the movie does have the basic elements, but
Mhm.
the book was a lot better.
Right. Yeah. I was going to ask you, did you think it was a faithful adaptation? Which I guess there wasn't enough time really to cover everything. If it had been longer, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, but it did. It covered everything,
Hmm.
all the main parts in the book.
Right.
And like, and Dan Brown's one of my favorite authors. I have read every one of his books,
Yeah.
and even the books pre, Da Vinci Code.
Right.
The Da Vinci Code was basically what made him,
Yeah. Right.
because the book was so controversial,
Yeah.
and the Catholic Church was like the big, organization that was coming out against the book,
Right.
which
Right.
they would do with anything that pertains to religion. I mean, in the
Yeah.
past, they've always picked on movies and stuff too. I mean, pre
Yeah.
Vinci Code. But anyway,
And context now, this book doesn't seem very controversial at all in comparison with other things that the Catholic Church has been up against. But yeah.
yeah, all right. So yeah,
But
uh,
yeah, I just couldn't deal with Tom Hanks's hairdo in this movie. It,
yeah, I know. I mean, since it's based on a book, I mean, you
yeah.
have nothing to go on.
Right.
How the actors should be dressed and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it would. Yeah, I
He
mean,
got made fun of a lot for that too.
yeah, and it had Tom Hanks in it. It had a couple of French actors and actresses, and
Audrey Tato was
yeah,
good. Yeah.
and Ian McKellen was in it.
Right.
Who's also in uh, another movie that was, came out that year also.
The stuff with the albino guy was really weird too. I remember. Uh,
Yeah, there's always somebody weird in the movie,
right. Right.
you know. Uh,
But
but
it was interesting. I'll give
yeah,
you that.
so the whole gist of the movie, without going into all the puzzles, and I
Yeah.
like puzzles. That was another reason why I like Dan Brown's movie, because all his movies have puzzles in it. So,
Right.
you get a clue, and then you have to try to figure out what that clue is and stuff like that.
And this was directed by Ron Howard, right?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
directed by Ron Howard.
Okay.
So the gist of the story is that uh, Christ allegedly married Mary
Hmm.
Magdalene,
Right.
and they had a girl.
Hmm.
And after his death, they went up to France
Right.
and they established this bloodline.
Yeah.
So the whole thing was, there was this organization called something of Zion,
Yeah.
Priory of Zion, whose job was to protect the bloodline.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So, it was all these symbols and stuff, and there were, everybody, people against other people, the usual stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's an interesting
it,
concept.
it was really good from the puzzle concept
Right.
and from, the religious concept.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. Well, good pick. Well, my number 5 is, of course, a comedy, but this one is a little more than a comedy. It's Stranger Than Fiction. And
why do you pick all these movies that I never heard
of? to urge you to go see them.
Especially the comedies.
Well, this one it's more of a dramedy, I guess, but it's definitely a strange movie.
What was the last one you told me the last time to go to see?
The Weatherman was one of them.
Yeah, but
with Nicolas Cage.
No.
So this one stars Will Ferrell, who plays an accountant. And
yeah, I usually don't like Will Ferrell movies.
Yeah, I know, but this one you might like because it's got an interesting concept where the movie it's being narrated by this author, and she's writing a book, and she's writing a book about this real person. And so her narration, Will Ferrell is starting to hear this woman's narration in his own head. Like as he's brushing his teeth, he's hearing this other woman narrate his own life. And he thinks he's going crazy, but it's really happening. And then the crux of the movie is this woman's writing this book about what she thinks is this fictional guy, but it's a real guy. And she's going to be writing about his death. So he starts going to this kind of therapist played by Dustin Hoffman, who believes him and is giving him advice. And then there's a love story that ensues as well with this woman that he's doing her books because he's an accountant. And so he starts coming out of his shell as a person while also trying to figure out when he's going to die based on this narrator. It's a crazy movie, but Will Ferrell, you'll be happy to know in this, plays, it's almost like Jim Carrey's The Truman Show. It has that kind of feel to it because he's not the Will Ferrell like over the top. He's very dumbed down, I guess you could say, to where he feels like a normal person, but it's the story that's the ridiculous thing in this one. So Stranger Than Fiction, look it up. So okay.
Even though I don't like Ferrell movies though, but
yeah, this one it's a cute movie. Like it has a little bit of romance, a little bit of drama, a little bit of comedy, and it's just one of these like ridiculous stories, but not overly ridiculous. So what's your number 4? If you're there.
Yes, I'm writing Strangers and Fiction. Another one you knew I'd put on my list. Dead Man's Chest.
Okay. Yeah, this is the second one, or
yes, this is the second one. This one was good too. It introduced Davy Jones.
Yes, Davy Jones.
So, and the way they did his beard and stuff.
Right, where his beard was like alive, basically.
Yeah. So there was like a lot of things going on in the movie.
Right.
Because Jack had to get Davy Jones' heart from his locker. Right.
Yes.
And he had this compass that would lead him there.
Yeah.
So Orlando Bloom, in order to save Keira Knightley, because they were both sentenced to hang
Oh,
because
yes.
of their help with, you know,
From the
in the
first one.
last episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Orlando Bloom got Jack's compass,
Yeah.
then they would go free.
Right. Right.
Okay, so now Orlando Bloom's on the good side, trying to get the compass from, Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and in the meantime, he's trying to get the heart from Davy Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this one does not have Jeffrey Rush in it, right? The Barbarossa guy. He doesn't come back until the third one, if I remember correctly.
He comes back at the end.
Ah, okay. That's right.
Remember?
Yeah.
So now everybody's going, oh, wow.
Yeah, I remember now. Okay. I haven't seen, I think I maybe have seen this once when it came out in the theater.
Yeah, but again, it was a fun movie, and this one grossed a little over $1 billion.
Really? Wow.
$1 billion.
Crazy.
It was a number one at box office that year. Yeah, that is crazy.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right. Well, good pick. So my number 4 is one, probably the only one that we'll have in common if we do. And that is The Departed.
Yes, we do have that in common, but I have it higher.
All right. Okay, cool. Yep. The Martin Scorsese. We've talked about this on, I think, multiple episodes. The Jack Nicholson, the Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Yeah. Probably did it with the best, the Martin Scorsese, his best movies. We probably did it, the best movies of the 90s. So, multiple times. So this is it again.
Right. So an all-star cast: Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Martin Sheen.
Right.
Yeah, it was so it was a little weird. I mean, Nicholson playing Nicholson, his bad Nicholson, the bad guy Nicholson,
right.
But still Jack Nicholson, and then Damon is playing a cop, but he's working for Jack Nicholson.
Right. Yeah.
And DiCaprio is being undercover.
Yes. Working for Nicholson, but he's really the cop. So
he's really the cop, right?
The whole thing about being a rat is the main plot
line. So
each
one is trying to find out who the rat is for each one of the things.
Yeah, it's great. And it's actually a remake. Apparently, Scorsese remade a movie that I think was either Japanese or Chinese, one of the two. And of course, they made it based in Boston, but so everyone's got Boston accents, and that's fun too, like with Mark Wahlberg and Alec Baldwin, and there's a lot of comedy throughout, but it gets to be pretty intense, like especially when after Martin Sheen dies, spoiler alert there, and DiCaprio's looking at, as he calls it, a dead man's phone ringing, and at this point we know that Damon knows this and DiCaprio knows this, but they don't know yet. So they call each other, and it's just like one of those very intense scenes. But yeah, there's a lot of twists and turns to this thing, with people that you wouldn't expect to die at certain moments. And won Scorsese his first Academy Award for Best Picture.
Right.
Crazy that it took that long, but it was worth it. It was one of his better ones, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the end thing with the elevator when he
Yeah.
came down. That was like crazy.
Yeah, that's like something you don't expect at all.
Yeah, so we won't say what the result of the elevator was.
Right.
Yeah, that was like the crowning moment thing. And it was so
Yeah.
quick.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. And DiCaprio had already proved himself at this point to be a great actor. But for me, this is the one that I was like, man, he really is awesome. Like, he even got a little, muscular for this movie to he was a bit of I guess a badass, beating people up and whatnot. Before that, he was always this kind of skinny kid from Titanic, but this is the one that really kind of made him just one of the greats. So yeah, good stuff. So what's your number 3?
my number 3 is a movie I didn't even want to go see.
Okay.
But there was so many good reviews that came out about it that I finally gave in and watched it.
Okay.
Casino Royale.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
This was the first Daniel Craig James Bond.
Yeah.
And you know that to me, the only James Bond
Sean Connery. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Connery. Until I saw Daniel Craig.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. He changed the game, man.
Yeah, he definitely changed the game.
Yep. He was more of a serious James Bond, I guess, overall. And yeah, this movie was pretty intense as well. Out of all his, that's my favorite one, actually.
I mean, he gets poisoned in this movie.
Right.
Gets a heart attack. Has to like inject them.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen really tortures him in this movie.
I mean, this thing was like action to action. It was like all these different locations that were going on and stuff. I mean, the crux of the thing was this guy needed, and his name was Mads Mikkelsen in the movie, who I really don't remember ever seeing in anything else, unless you know something that he was in.
He's been in more stuff recently, but yeah.
And so he played this guy, Le Chiffre.
Mm-hmm.
It's French, so I may be mispronouncing the thing.
Right.
Because they never speak with it's never pronounced the way it's written. But
yeah.
Anyway, so Bond has got to win this poker game to keep him from winning the poker game because he needed that money that he lost to do something else.
Yeah, exactly.
So Bond does beat him, and that's like giving away because there is so much more to this movie after that.
Right.
He falls in love with the girl that was with him. He actually, first of all, the movie takes place like supposedly in the beginning of James Bond.
Right.
So he just earned his 00 status, his 007.
Yeah, right.
So now, after that, he retires.
Mm-hmm.
He already quits. And then he goes to Venice with this girl. And he falls in love with her, was working with them and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that she's now, like, she double-crossed them because she never deposited the money that they won in the bank.
Right.
So now he's like trying to find out and stuff like that.
Yeah. A lot of cool twists and turns.
Yeah. And then like she drowns at the end.
Right.
And then, he gets like totally decimated. And then at the end is when he's in the tuxedo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic, man. That's definitely like I said, I think it's the best of the Daniel Craig movies, which a lot of people would argue that, but
I don't think this was the best.
Yeah.
This was probably the second best.
Okay, so we know what's coming in years to come then on your list, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, good, excellent pick.
And actually, I just saw the last one, his
Oh,
last
okay,
movie.
yeah,
Yeah, so you figure what, this is 2006, and
yeah,
this is, and we're in,
2021,
right, but he probably made the movie, what, in 2019, because
right?
it was delayed and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's what, how many years? That's 20,
So 14 years that he was actually James Bond. Yeah, 2006 to 2019.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, 14 years.
there you
And,
go.
and he actually looked old in this movie too.
Yeah, then when you start to look old, man, you got to throw in the keys. But oh, I saw Sean Connery's final Bond movie recently. I had never seen it. I forget the name of it, but it was so hilarious, like very cartoonish in
Yeah,
comparison.
that was the one that he made after he retired, right?
Right, right. He came back from retirement to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. Like,
But yeah, it was so funny, man. Like the way that he kills the guys at the end. But anyway, my number three is another comedy, and this one I'm sure you probably haven't seen, but it's Idiocracy.
no, but actually I heard that title.
Okay.
So
And
that one's not like totally strange to me.
yes, well, it's in recent years, it's come up a lot because it's predicted so many things, unfortunately. And it's a dark comedy directed by Mike Judge, who made the movie Office Space. And it's about this guy played by Luke Wilson who gets frozen, and he's just this ordinary average Joe guy, but he gets frozen and then they forget about him
And
for,
he's in the future. I
yeah.
saw this movie.
Oh, you
Now it's
did see
coming.
it?
Yes, now it's coming back.
Yeah.
I saw it probably when it first came out.
Okay, yeah. So he wakes up and everyone's an idiot because all this, the only people who continue breeding are stupid people. And it's essentially, we're almost there, I think, but in reality. But yes, the whole point of the movie is like that in the future, we are all very stupid. And like the president is played by this wrestler that we're not too far from that either, who like shoots machine guns in the air, and like everything is like sponsored by Taco Bell, and like all this, like it's just, it's sad to see that we're not too far from Idiocracy. But so essentially he's like the smartest man alive because everyone else is just it's predicted sadly many things, like Starbucks becomes like some kind of like a porn store or something, and like um I don't know what else you remember of it, but Costco is in the movie, and I don't know how they got like all these companies to approve some of the stuff that they do. Like there's this big guy that says, "Welcome to Costco, I love you," as people walk in.
They almost say that in Walmart, though, because they say "Welcome to Walmart." They don't do the "I love you" part.
Right, but it's hilarious, this movie. And it can also be, I remember when my sister got her wisdom teeth out, we had her over and she was all drugged up and she was watching this movie, and I think it frightened her because she was like, is this the news that we're watching? Like, so yeah, pretty great. So I'm glad that you actually saw it.
Yes, but I don't remember it. I just remember the thing about him being frozen and waking up. I don't remember anything about the Taco Bells or the Costco's or any of that stuff. So I might have to revisit it.
It's worth revisiting now, especially with just unfortunately how close we're coming to that year. Like there's a great scene where he goes to a doctor, and the way the doctor talks is so great. Like he calls him scro, like combining the word bro and scrotum. And it's just like, it's so great, man. I love it. So very quotable as well. So what's your number two?
Yeah. Besides puzzles,
Yes.
I also like magic.
Yeah. Okay.
So my number two is The Prestige.
Ah, yeah. That was a good one too.
Yeah, actually, there was two magic movies out that year.
That's right. The Illusionist was the other one.
Illusionist was also out that year.
Yeah.
Yes. So this was directed by Christopher Nolan,
Right.
who's been having a good run so far with movies. Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman,
Yep.
Scarlett Johansson, Michael Caine.
Yep. Great cast. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of twists and turns. Like you can't even say much of the plot on this because
I know.
you give too much away.
Jackman and Bale are two up and coming magicians.
Right.
And they're working with Michael Caine in the beginning.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman's wife does the, hands tied, feet tied, and dropped into the water tank.
Right.
Okay. And there was always this thing with Bale about how he ties her hands.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's a knot that he likes to use that doesn't always, she's not able to slip it to come out of.
Yeah. Right.
So she dies.
Yeah.
She drowns in the thing. So this also adds to their rivalry because now Jackman wants Bale to suffer.
Right.
So now there's this controversy because now they're out on their own doing illusions.
Yeah.
And one's always trying to outdo the other one. So there's big competition. Nikolai Tesla's even involved in the thing to make something, with the electricity and stuff like that.
That's right. Isn't he played by David Bowie? Or am I thinking of another movie?
No, and David Bowie, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool cameo. But yeah, there's so many things that happen in this movie that you're just like, what? And then what again?
I mean,
really
yes.
cool.
Yeah, so he gets Bale's wife to leave him,
right?
Basically, and then Jackman dies the same way his wife did in a tank of water.
Supposedly, right?
But
yeah.
Bale gets convicted of murder because he was down there, supposedly just watching him die.
Yes, right. But then it ends up being the ultimate trick. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was a great movie. Great movie.
Yeah. And the other movie with Edward Norton, The Illusionist, was a good one too. But I think The Prestige is the better one of the two.
Yeah, only because of the controversy and the twists and turns in it. I mean, there was really only one twist in The Illusionist.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this was like twist upon twist, man. It's insane.
Right.
So, yeah, good puzzle movie.
Yeah, definitely.
So my number two is I don't think you would call it a comedy. It's more of a drama, but it's Little Miss Sunshine.
I knew you were going to do that one. I just didn't know how high ranked you were going to do it.
Yeah, I haven't
talked about this one, so.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but I know if I watch it again, I would love it. It's got everything I love, like a dysfunctional family, quirkiness. Steve Carell plays a gay guy that tries to commit suicide, but is unsuccessful, and then he has to spend time with the family. And Paul Dano, I think, is his first movie where he plays this teenager that doesn't talk for most of the movie. the whole movie is basically about this. The daughter gets in a contest to be in a beauty pageant, and the family all goes together in this beat up yellow van from, I believe it's from Arizona to California, and hijinks of course ensue across the way. Alan Arkin is probably my favorite in this movie as the grandfather, who is just hilarious. He's curses all the time.
Yeah, I think he got like best supporting actor or something.
He might have, yeah. And yeah, he dies along the way, and then that causes a whole lot of other comedic things to happen. But the mother and father are great too. Greg Kinnear and Toni Collette, who've been in other great things, of course. And then even Bryan Cranston shows up in this movie as, I think, this guy that's Greg Kinnear wants to try and get a book contract from, but it doesn't work out, whatever he's trying to do. But yeah, it's just a great kind of family movie that you would think they don't end up resolving their issues, but they do in ways that you don't expect. And it ends up being kind of an anti-beauty pageant movie as well, which is kind of fun. So, and a road trip movie. So it's a lot of things in one. And yeah, I loved it. So didn't make your list, I'm guessing.
No, it didn't.
All right.
And comedies usually don't, especially weird comedies.
Well, you're really gonna hate my number one then. But what's your number one?
My number one, we talked about Departed, but we didn't mention
yes,
that it won the Academy Award for Best Picture and Best Director.
Yes.
And believe it or not, it did not even be in the top 10 for the top grosses that year.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy, especially with all the star power they had in it.
I know. And this is one of the few years that they actually agreed with the Academy.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah, that would be an interesting top 5 to do. The only times the Academy got it right. There probably have been only 5 times in the history. Right. But okay, so my number one is another Will Ferrell movie, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. This is the car racing movie.
Okay.
Where, yeah, he plays Ricky Bobby, the Southern guy.
Yeah.
That he has so many great quotes.
Yeah, I would never put this at number one.
If you're not first, you're last is one of his most famous quotes. Also, I piss excellence is another one. There's so many great lines. Just the scene where he's at the family table and they're eating Kentucky Fried Chicken or something, and he's praying over the food to baby Jesus instead of the adult Jesus because he likes baby Jesus better. It's just classic, man. Him and what's his name? John. I can't believe I'm forgetting the other actor, but the duo that they have, the chemistry, the whole thing with Shake and Bake is hilarious. And then when he's not a good driver anymore, his wife leaves him for the other guy. And it's just so ridiculous, man. All the best of the over-the-topness of Will Ferrell movies that you would love. Plus, it has the guy who plays Borat as the French guy that's the anti-hero in this movie. So it's just great.
Yeah, I don't like Borat either.
I assume that would be the case. Have you even seen this movie?
I might have seen it with you. I don't know if we saw it on TV.
I don't remember watching it with you, so you may have never even seen it. But yeah, I don't know if you would like it or not, honestly, but probably not.
Well, unless he was in another car racing movie. I remember either that or I saw an ad or...
No, that's the only one so far.
Yeah.
Surprised that they didn't make a sequel of it because it did really well, I think. But okay, so obviously The Departed is our combined number one.
Right. It
So
would have won number one anyway. I'm sure that your Farrell movie did not have a 4.2.
yes, I'm sure. But so that's the number two. So now number three is between Prestige and Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, and that's going to be really close.
Yeah, probably because Little Miss Sunshine is pretty high regarded. Prestige has a 4.1. I don't know about Little Miss Sunshine.
4.0.
Oh man. Okay. So Prestige at 3, Sunshine at 4, and then it's between Casino Royale and Idiocracy. I have a feeling you're going to win this one too.
Let me see what I have.
Casino Royale is 3.9.
9, yeah.
Idiocracy is only a 3.1.
Can't imagine why.
Man, no fair.
A lot of people apparently do not have your comedy taste.
Apparently not. But yeah, so my honorable mention is not a comedy. It's Blood Diamond, which was another Leonardo DiCaprio movie that year. About the Blood Diamond.
I started
trade.
watching it. I remember, and I just couldn't get into the movie.
Really, that's surprising because it was directed by Edward Zwick, who made The Last Samurai, and other movies that are kind of big epic movies. But yeah, this one was a little on the depressing side.
Yeah, I think that's why I stopped watching it after a while. I probably watched maybe the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a rough movie, but DiCaprio was really great in it as always. And but yeah, so what's your honorable mention, or should I say mentions with an S?
Well, the honorable mention, the official honorable mention, is, and I've watched this movie a lot of times because I showed it to the kids.
Yeah.
Every time they were up or whatever, because they come up at different times.
Yeah.
8 Below.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And also my love of Huskies.
Yeah, I was surprised this didn't make the top 5. Another depressing movie, though. In some ways.
Yeah, in some ways. I mean, it's basically the movie is about the dogs. Obviously, the title 8 Below. There's 8 dogs.
Yeah.
And this guy played by, I don't know who played, but he played Dr. Davis McLaren in the movie.
Yeah.
And he has him go on this last expedition, which was pushing the time frame for them to evacuate, because the season was almost over. Now the real winter was coming in.
Yeah. Okay.
In Antarctica. Right.
Yeah.
So to get through it, he almost dies because he didn't do what he was told to do, So he falls into thin ice.
Yeah.
But they drag him out to get him back. And now it's past, now the storm is coming. Right. So they can take everybody out except the dogs. They have to leave the dogs behind.
Right. Yeah.
And so they tie him down and then they go off. So then the rest of the story is how the dogs survive without them being there.
Right.
For all that time. And they go, in the movie, they go like week by week almost.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, the guy that was taking care of the dog is trying to get back to Antarctica.
Right. So it's like a double survival story. Pretty amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, that definitely is a good.
It's a good kid movie. There's only one part that could possibly scare the kids.
Right. Yeah.
It even makes me jump. You know?
Right. Yeah, but yeah, definitely a good pick. So did you want to mention any of the other ones or?
Yeah, the other one, we said the Illusionist,
Mhm.
Inside Man, which is another one of my really favorites.
Mhm.
Mission Impossible 3,
Okay, yep.
X-Men Last Stand,
Right.
the first Night at the Museum.
Mhm.
I'm surprised you didn't like that one as a comedy.
Yeah, I didn't get into it.
The Queen,
Mhm.
Last King of Scotland,
Mhm.
Little Miss Sunshine, which you had, Babel,
Okay.
Children of Men, Apocalypto, which you dragged me to the movie theater to say.
Oh yeah, we saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Cars,
Mhm.
Ice Age, The Meltdown, Happy Feet. Cars, Ice Age, and Happy Feet were in the top 10 grosses that year.
Wow. Okay. Interesting, but not The Departed. That's funny.
Not the
All right.
Departed.
All right. Well, let's read off
Well, oh yeah, you said what was yours again?
my honorable mention.
Yeah.
Blood Diamond.
Ah, that was it, right? Blood Diamond.
Yeah. All right.
I
So
still did forget.
yes. So our top 5 favorite movies of 2006. At number 5, Casino Royale. At number 4, Little Miss Sunshine. At number 3, The Prestige. At number 2, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. And at number 1, The Departed. Yeah. It's a pretty good list, I gotta say.
Yeah, except for number 2. But
Very, it's pretty diverse anyway. Seems like.
yes, thanks to you.
Yeah, comedy every other one.
Almost everyone, but yeah.
Well, next year I won't have as many comedies, I promise.
Oh,
But,
and if you notice, no Harry Potter this time.
oh, and was there a Harry Potter movie that year? Apparently not. That's why. All right, so we'll see you guys on the next one, 2007. Be ready. Love you.
Love you too.
All right, bye.